No ship had ever crossed the edge of the Forbidden Zone and returned. Every star map showed it as a dark scar in space. The light inside it bent the wrong way. Sensors failed the moment they looked too close. Even the bravest explorers avoided it. The galaxy had learned, long ago, that some places were not meant to be entered. The Forbidden Zone was one of them. At a quiet monitoring station near the Galactic Rim, alarms suddenly came alive. Screens flashed red. Numbers shifted without reason. An officer froze as a new signal appeared. It was coming from inside the Forbidden Zone. "That's impossible," he whispered. The station commander rushed forward. "Check for errors." "There are none," the officer said. His voice shook. "The signal is stable." The room fell silent. Nothing lived inside the Forbidden Zone. No ship, no probe, no message had ever come from there. Yet the signal was clear, repeating in a perfect pattern. It was artificial. The commander ordered deep scan. The sensors struggled, then screamed in protest. Space itself seemed to twist as the image formed on the screen. A ship, not a wreck, not debris. A ship was moving slowly through the warp space of the Forbidden Zone, as if the laws of reality did not apply to it. Its shape was heavy and sharp. Its hull was dark and calm. It showed no damage. Data lines appeared one by one. Origin, human. The commander felt cold. Humans vanished centuries ago. Someone said. The ship did not slow down. It did not hesitate. The Forbidden Zone bent around it, like space was afraid to touch it. Then a message appeared on every screen. Simple, clear. Human warship entering restricted space. For the first time in history, the Forbidden Zone had been entered, and the galaxy knew nothing would ever be the same again. The Galactic Council gathered in emergency silence. Holograms of leaders from many worlds flickered into view. None of them spoke at first. All eyes were fixed on the image of the ship drifting inside the Forbidden Zone. "It cannot be real," one elder finally said. "Human ships were never built for this." Scientists began scanning again, pushing their systems past safe limits. Every scan returned the same result. The ship was real. Its mass was wrong. Too heavy for its size. Its energy output was impossible. Power levels rose and fell without any visible source. Even worse, time around the ship moved differently. A second near the ship was not the same as a second outside it. "This design breaks our models," a researcher said. "It ignores known physics." The council watched as the ship moved deeper into the zone. Space twisted, but the vessel stayed steady, like it was built for this place. Records were pulled from ancient archives. Old human files, marked lost and forgotten, were reopened. Most were incomplete. Some were sealed by unknown codes. One line appeared again and again in the oldest data. "If the seal fails, return." No one understood what it meant. Then the human ship changed course. It turned toward the edge of the Forbidden Zone, toward the watching galaxy. Weapons did not charge. Shields did not rise. Instead, a transmission began. The signal cut through every defense system without effort. The voice was calm. "Human. Controlled. This is human warship vigilance," it said. "You are observing restricted maintenance space." The council reacted in shock. "Maintenance," someone repeated. The ship continued, unbothered. "The zone is unstable," the voice said. "Stand by." The message ended. Inside the Forbidden Zone, stars flickered. Something was waking up, and the ship that should not exist was preparing for its purpose. The Forbidden Zone changed. At first, the shift was small. Light bent harder. Colors faded, then returned too bright. Long-range sensors began to lose time, sending data from moments that had not happened yet. Across the galaxy, observatories reported the same thing. Reality was slipping. The human warship vigilance moved forward, calm and steady. Around it, space cracked like thin glass. Gravity twisted into strange curves. Yet the ship did not shake. It did not slow. Alien fleets at the edge of the zone tried to pull back. Engines failed. Navigation systems spun in endless loops. Some ships vanished for seconds, then reappeared far from where they should be. Panic spread. "This is not an attack," a scientist said, shaking. "This is structural failure." Inside the Forbidden Zone, something massive shifted. Shadows moved where no bodies existed. The stars dimmed, as if afraid to shine. Ancient warnings filled the council screens. Texts written by unknown hands, older than most civilizations. "Do not observe the lock when it weakens." No one knew what the lock was. Then the human ship acted. The Vigilance released a field unlike any weapon. It was silent, invisible. Space folded inward, like a wound being pressed closed. For a moment, the fractures slowed. The council realized something terrifying. The human ship was not resisting the zone. It was holding it together. "This ship was designed for this place," the commander whispered. New data emerged from deep scans. The Forbidden Zone was not natural. Its borders were shaped. Its chaos was controlled. Someone had built it, and only one species had a ship that could survive inside it. The human voice returned, steady as before. "Containment breach confirmed," it said. "Beginning stabilization." The message paused. "Galactic presence is advised to remain distant," as if distance would help. Because whatever the Forbidden Zone was hiding, it was no longer fully asleep. The oldest human records were never meant to be opened. As reality strained around Forbidden Zone, sealed archives across the galaxy unlocked on their own. Codes older than modern language began to translate. Symbols shifted into words no one expected to read. Human Containment Project. Phase 1. The Council watched in silence. The files spoke of an age before the current galaxy, a time when space itself was unstable. Something had been discovered beyond known physics. It could not be destroyed. It could not be reasoned with. So humans did not fight it. They contained it. The Forbidden Zone was not a place of death. It was a prison, built using stars as anchors in reality, as a cage. The documents ended with a warning. If the seal weakens, return immediately. The human warship Vigilance was never lost. It was waiting. Inside the zone, energy spikes surged. The stars that formed the prison began to drift out of position. Space screamed without sound. Alien fleets retreated in fear. Their strongest weapons meant nothing here. The Vigilance moved to the center of the zone. Its hull glowed with control power. Systems older than the galaxy came online. "This ship is a key," a scientist realized, "and the zone is a lock." The human voice returned, slower now. "Containment failure is progressing," it said. "Manual intervention required." Then the voice added something new. Human presence was always intended. The council understood at last. Humans did not disappear. They stayed behind, guarding the galaxy from something it never knew existed. The Forbidden Zone pulsed. From deep within it, something pressed back. The prison was breaking. And the final duty of the human warship had just begun. The Forbidden Zone was collapsing. Stars that once held the prison in place began to drift apart. Space twisted into sharp angles. Waves of dark energy rolled outward, strong enough to tear fleets apart. Alien ships fled as fast as they could. Engines burned hot. Some did not escape in time. They vanished without light or sound, erased by forces they could not understand. At the center of it all, the human warship Vigilance stood still. The ship did not run. Its systems pushed beyond normal limits. Armor plates glowed white with heat. Power levels climbed into dangerous ranges. But the ship held firm. Inside the core of the zone, something massive moved. It had no clear shape, no true form. Reality bent away from it, like space refused to touch it directly. Ancient fear filled every sensor. "This entity cannot be released," the human voice said calmly. "Containment must be restored." The Vigilance deployed anchors made of compressed gravity and time. Each one locked onto a failing star, forcing it back into position. Space screamed as the prison tried to break free. The unknown presence pushed harder. Cracks spread across the zone. One anchor failed. Then another. The ship shuddered for the first time. Alarms echoed inside the Vigilance, but the voice remained steady. "Escalating response," it said. "Activating final protocol." Energy unlike any weapon flared from the ship. Not an attack, but a sacrifice. The ship fed its own mass and power into the prison, becoming part of the lock itself. The entity screamed without sound. The zone began to close. The council watched in helpless silence as the vigilance faded into the light the prison was holding. But the human warship was not pulling back. It was staying behind, holding the line so the galaxy could live. The Forbidden Zone was silent again. The twisted light slowly returned to normal. Stars settled back into their ancient positions. The cracks in reality closed, leaving only calm, empty space behind. The prison held. But the human warship vigilance was gone. Long-range scans showed nothing at the center of the zone. No wreckage. No signal. Only a new structure where the ship had been, a solid knot of space and energy, perfectly still. The scientists understood. The ship had not been destroyed. It had become part of the lock. Across the galaxy, fleets stopped retreating. Commanders stared at their screens in quiet shock. Entire civilizations realized how close they had come to extinction without ever knowing it. Emergency councils turned into moments of silence. They protected us, one leader said softly. Ancient human records finished unlocking. Final messages appeared, written in clear and simple words. If you're reading this, containment was successful. Human guardianship continues. There were no threats, no demands, no claim of power, only duty. The galaxy finally understood the truth. Humans were not aggressive conquerors. They were not reckless explorers. They were wardens. They built prisons out of stars. They stood watch for thousands of years. And when the galaxy forgot the danger, humans stayed behind. New laws were written that day. No ship would ever approach the Forbidden Zone again. No weapon would ever be aimed at human space. No council decision would ignore human warnings, because humanity did not rule the galaxy by force. They guarded it from horrors no one else could face. And somewhere beyond reality, inside the silent prison, a human warship still held the line, watching, waiting, so the rest of the galaxy could sleep without ever knowing what almost woke up.